I'm like, I'm Josey. Last name's actually Baker. It's like, oh, what? You baked? Wow, I got this guy's name, Josey Baker.
That's how it was born.
That's how it was born. If I was good at something, it would mean something about who I was, something real and positive and concrete. I liked people. I would say that I liked being around people a lot more than I liked being alone. When I make something that makes me buzz, I really want to connect with someone about it. Your superpower will be enhanced if you can learn to slow down a little bit.
In your mind or in your expert?
All of it. That's a message to teenage Josey. We feel good together, and we're gonna be okay, right? That really lights me up and gives me the fuel to keep going. So I think I get a lot of inspiration from that kind of stuff. Well, my parents got divorced when I was a kid, and so I had 2 homes. So different things, different homes, right? So, with my dad, he was a great dad. We would play catch a lot, play cards a lot. He encouraged my early interest in music. It got me guitar lessons with a local guy he knew. And with my mom, I have very fond memories of hanging out in the kitchen with her, mostly watching her, but it was a way that I could spend time with her that felt connected, fulfilling to me. I think that from an early age, I really liked performing. I liked people. I would say that I liked being around people a lot more than I liked being alone. And that continued on until relatively recently. Now, only within the last 5 years do I feel like I've found a balance of love people, love my friends and family and team and community here, and also I'm more comfortable being alone than ever before, which is good. I think that definitely in my teens and 20s, I was hyper social, which served me on some level, and it also, I think it sort of masked an underlying discomfort with who I was. So, being out in the world and being active and being social just helped me not have to face the uncomfortable stuff. But haven't resolved all of that, but I've definitely resolved a lot of it. So now when I'm still and alone, I'm mostly okay with it. So that feels good. Feels better, at least. It's funny, I definitely always right alongside of that harbored a deep insecurity of I'm not actually good at this. Any of it. The writing, the music, the acting, all of those arts that I was so deeply drawn to engage in. I always sort of felt when are these people going to figure out that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? In the face of repeated experiences of people saying like, hey, we want to support you and encourage you in this thing. And so, I think that culminated like in my early 20s where, again, I was writing a lot of music, recording music, playing music out, and I kind of like bumped up against the reality of what it looks like to actually try to have that like be your job, to be more than just a side hustle hobby. And I was like, I'm not even actually good at this, so I'm not gonna fight for this. Like this, it's true, the odds are so stacked against anyone who actually wants to try to like make a career in those creative fields. But yeah, I loved acting. I did love writing. I loved not only the process of like finding the words for the thoughts and the feelings. I really loved, and I think this is similar to the feeling I got with the music and with the acting, is like the affirmation that I would receive from people if and when they like encountered what I'd made and felt like some resonance. And that is very true today. Like now that I'm having my own little like music making renaissance, like when I make something that like makes me buzz, I really want to like connect with someone about it. I think at its core, like what did I want when I was a kid? I wanted to be really good at something, why do I want to be did I really want to be good at something? I think probably I thought, which on some level is true, and at some level is fallacy, that if I was good at something, it would mean something about who I was, something real and positive and concrete. And so, at different points I wanted to be good at different things. When I was really little, I wanted to be really good as a baseball player, like the kid with the dream to become a professional baseball player. That didn't last very long. I wanted to be an actor, I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be a musician. And I went to a baking summer camp.
But was it just like random, or you really wanted to?
It's another amazing thing of my parents saying like, hey, it seems, I think my mom was behind this one, hey, it seems like you're like interested in food making and cooking and baking. Like there's this thing at this local high school. It's like a week long experience where you get to like spend all day every day learning how to bake different things. And so I think the connective tissue to all those things is like, a desire to like maybe not be good at something, to be great at something. But also, like my father told this story at my wedding. There was definitely an entrepreneurial streak from a young age as well.
Like what, selling something?
Yeah, I would sell stuff. Yeah, I would. My first product was a money clip that I just bought from the local jewelry store. It actually had a little marijuana leaf on it. I got some that had a little marijuana leaf on it and some that had a little mushroom on them. And I would buy them from the local jewelry store and then sell them to my friends. And, I definitely also like, even before that, this is not unusual. Lots of kids have yard sales, but like when I like realized like,
so much toys.
I could sell my toys and make just a ton of cash.
Wow. How old were you at that?
I had to be like 6 or 7, and I take all my toys and I sit, and this is in rural Vermont, so I like take a table and I'm like sitting on the sidewalk in front of my house with all my toys, and I take like a He-Man toy, like $10 for the He-Man toy, like $20 for this G.I. Joe, and I'm like, I'm gonna be rich. Wow. Really soon. Obviously, I didn't sell any of them.
Okay.
But it's important lesson in entrepreneurship early on, how to properly price your product.
Wow, that's actually good. Were your parents like supportive in this when you were doing this stuff? They were like engaging you to do this?
Yeah, they were awesome. They were always like, I think they did a great job of like, I have an idea, they would help me actualize that idea, as opposed to just saying like, kid, it's a stupid idea.
So
Right?
all
You
your
learn
ideas
through
were starting
experience.
from you, or like parents sometimes would give you some like, hey, maybe you would like do this, or like, go sell your toys on the table or something like that. Or
Well,
it
the
was
toy selling was my idea,
yeah,
but you know, a combination of things. I mean, they were very engaged, active parents, and so I think probably, you know, some combo of me coming up with crazy ideas and them supporting me. But you know, it's like the baking summer camp, the
yeah,
music lessons, like that's them like seeing some urge in me and like providing me with you know supportive opportunities to explore it,
that's
which
super
I'm so
cool.
grateful for. You know, that's what I mean. Like one of the things I'm always trying to do here, both on the team but also like in the community at large, is like I'm trying to support people's interests. You know, we have a business to run, and so obviously, like, the business has to work, otherwise, it can't do anything. But right on top of that is like, how can we help, you know, the people in our community become like the next version of themselves? And so, you know, I try as much as I can to, um, you know, to be wind in those sails. I would say what I'm trying to do is, I mean, I guess I see it as like my way of like loving the world, which is trying, you know, in all my relationships, you know, my son, with my wife, my friends, my parents, my community and staff here, is to as much as possible like I get a lot of energy when I feel like I am showing up for people and helping them to be, you know, the best version of themselves, and like a like a comrade in in the good fight.
Hmm.
And so, you know, like last night, like the fundraiser for Tony, employee who just had, you know, a health emergency and crazy hospital bills, you know, to be able to facilitate, you know, that evening experience where like it's a coming together of a community around a really positive cause. Everybody's getting to eat really delicious food and be together in a room and like feel that with each other. Support Tony. You know, have my wife and son here, have a bunch of friends here. You know, especially like the state of the world right now and like this country. And I mean, I'm like, it's very bleak. It's like really hard to even understand. You know, I'm like right now the working title for this album that I'm working on is "Coping with the End of the World." It's just like it really feels so dark, and so to be able to help those kinds of experiences happen, where it's just like it's just in real life and it's just the basic stuff of like we feel good together and we're like we're gonna be okay, right? um, that really like lights me up and gives me the fuel to like, you know, keep going. So I think I get a lot of inspiration from that kind of stuff lately. But yeah, I mean, you know, like the bread that we make here is obviously, I mean, I'm in love with bread and have been for a long time, and you know that love affair continues, you know,
Yeah,
strong and true. And also like for many years the bread has been secondary to like me caring for the people. And I see like my primary job here is to make sure that everybody is like feeling supported and well taken care of. And like from that, you know, good bread is made.
yeah. I mean, it feels Like you're just here in this space and you can feel this love
That's good to hear.
flying around in this space for sure.
That's good. Your superpower will be enhanced if you can learn to slow down a little bit.
In your mind or in your acts, where?
All of it. That's a message to teenage Josey. You are living very dangerously. And even if you don't get hurt, you're stressing people out. And so, like, just chill out a little bit. Like, we get it. You're very cool, okay? But, like, it's kind of too much. You know, because what was I doing? I was coping. And so, we talked about this, but, like, it's very confusing to a young person, I think, to adults as well, when your coping mechanisms are in line with, like, certain cultural values, you know, and so, like, being very productive, being very extroverted and outgoing, being adventurous, like, a culture likes those things. Like, America likes those kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was doing all of those things and getting lots of affirmation for all those things. And, like, what was I not dealing with and or getting is, like, you're behaving recklessly. Like, you're taking up a lot of space. You're, like, worrying people who care about you. You're hurting people because you're acting selfishly sometimes. And, you know, if I could just go, I wouldn't have to, like, deal with that stuff. You know, and eventually I did have to deal with that stuff. Really, I didn't have to deal with it until I had a kid. And then, you know, it all came up. And, you know, I finally had to kind of reckon with it and, like, slow down and decenter myself from my universe, which was very painful and very hard. But I'm very grateful for it. I mean, I guess on some level, like, moving to San Francisco was really pivotal. I mean, I'm born in New York and then I grew up in Vermont, a small town in Vermont. Went to a liberal arts school in Massachusetts called Hampshire College. I just found out today, actually, it's closing, which is very, very sad. But at Hampshire, I definitely had my mind completely blown about, like, what life could look like because of, you know, in a nutshell, like, the educational approach of the school is, like, you get to make up your own majors, you don't have grades. It's just that idea of, like, those are, like, pivotal to what I thought college was, right? And kind of like it's the paradigm in which you're operating, and it's like, well, you can make up stuff, you can make up your path, and also, like, the grade, that's not actually important. Like, the important thing is, like, learning about yourself and also, like, defining your path. And so, also, having grown up in a small town in Vermont, I was like a big fish in a little pond, and I got to school and I was like, holy shit, like, I'm so dumb compared to all these people, which is, again, very grateful for it, but so humbling and so disorienting of, like, I had some idea about who I was and what I was capable of, and, like, now all of a sudden being around all these other people that I feel like are, I'm just, like, in awe of their intelligence and creativity, their minds. So that was a big eye-opener. But then moving out to San Francisco, you know, again, like, little town in Vermont, and I got to San Francisco, and I think it was the first time where I was like, I don't want to leave here. Like, in my little town, I kind of always felt like itching for somewhere bigger. And I got here and I was like, this seems big enough. This seems like a place that I could be for a while. I was 22, 21 years ago. We live in Oakland now, but like, Bay Area. And I don't anticipate, I don't anticipate living anywhere else. Usually when I travel, I enjoy it. And also I'm really grateful to come back here. Call this my home. From very early on, the money clips, it's like I had a brand that I was trying to push. No, so I was working at UC Berkeley on elementary and middle school science curriculum, and I've been doing that for 5 years. And I fell out of love with the work, and I was looking for something I was going to do next. And like, I actually tried to get a job at another bakery, and they wouldn't hire me because I didn't have any experience. And so I started giving away the bread I was baking at home, and then started selling the bread. And like, pretty quickly it was like, oh, I can do this without, I don't need any, I don't need to go to school or get any training for this. I don't need a lot of money because I'm just baking it out of my own home, and I don't have to pay for my ingredients. So like, the barrier of entry was very low. And pretty quickly it was like, oh, like, I can just sort of spread the word about this, and it can sort of grow organically. And so very quickly it was like, it became a venue. It became like a creative project, like an art project that I could keep doing because it was kind of easy to monetize, right? Whereas like the music that I'd given up a few years ago, and I was like, because I knew friends who were like professional, right? They were like touring. They were definitely much more talented than I was. And I saw how hard of a time they were having doing it. And that was really discouraging to me as well. So I was like, I really, how can you do this and have this be a job? It seems next to impossible. So now, but I still had that creative urge. And I was really excited by the idea of like getting to engage in craft and actually have it be like my livelihood. And so bread very quickly emerged as a way that I could do it. I do think also the fact that my last name was Baker.
No,
because really, like, in hindsight, it's like, it's just a little sticky, It's like, it's a little like, my name is Baker and I'm a baker.
Right.
It's a little bit, it's just, it's that's not like the reason, but it was another nudge in that direction because I would see the way people would respond when I'd like bring bread to a dinner party and I like didn't know who they were, and then like, like introducing them like, hey, I'm Josey. My last name's actually Baker. It's like, oh, what? You baked? Well, hey, I got this guy named Josey Baker.
That's how it was born.
That's how it was born.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and so I'd say that, there was not a lot of friction in it, like taking the baby steps, right? It's cheap. I don't have to like be trained, and it started out of my home and blah, blah, blah. And then like, I just kind of like, and again, I was definitely like defining my own path because I tried to work in a bakery and they wouldn't hire me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm at that point in San Francisco, kind of like the beginning of like the pop-up scene, like the 2011, 2010. And so I was just like walking around Mission bakeries, asking them if I could rent space from them to run my own business. And they all said no, except for one of them, Mission Pie, which is now Reams, 25th and Mission.
Oh, wow.
And the owners there, these two very cool women, Karen and Kristen, they're a couple. They took a leap of faith, and they were like, sure, let's try it out. After, I came back a couple times, let's try it out. And pretty quickly, I think it became clear that like it was this mutually beneficial thing. So I would be there with fresh baked bread. I just offered up to their customers, and we got along well, and I was respectful, and I was paying them a little bit to use their space. And I did that for like a year and a half. All the while I'm like doing these community supported bread pickup spots So which is just a model I borrowed from farmers, right? CSA, I called it CSB, community supported bread. So you'd basically buy a bread membership. And so you just get a different loaf of bread each week, and I just come drop it off at your work.
That's cool.
So I did that around San Francisco and some East Bay spots. I did that at a restaurant in Oakland, Pizzaiolo, and baked bread out of the wood-fired oven, and I'd like pay them with bread for the use of their oven. And then I'd also like have it be a pickup spot for people, so they'd come in, one morning a week and just pick up their loaf. And I was doing that, and then the owners of Four Barrel Coffee said, "Hey, we're going to work on a new cafe. We want to have a bakery in it. Do you want to have a bakery in the cafe?" And that became the mill.
Already. So it was kind of their idea to.
Oh yeah. They approached me because I'd only been baking for like a year and a half at that point. I was not really thinking that I was going to open my own space.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, very grateful to them.
That's a cool story, man.
Yeah, thanks,
Very
bud.
cool.
Thanks for letting me tell it.
It's the biggest question.
Biggest question. Jeez. I think Brian Eno's album Music for Airports is definitely stood the test of time for me. There's a bunch of other albums. Honestly, also Ani DeFranco's first album.
Who's?
Ani DeFranco.
I didn't think I know it.
Check it out. A little curveball for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of music lately from the 90s, and God, some of that stuff just makes me feel crazy with like vitality. I mean, this book really blew me wide open. By Pema Chodron, When Things Fall Apart.
Okay. I also didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's just a guide for some helpful advice for when life feels unlivable.